You're listening to GhostLine, same hour, same frequency. If you're driving, keep your eyes on the road, and if you're home, you might want to leave the lights the way they are. Some things make more sense when you don't look at them too hard. It's been a quiet night in a lot of places. Not calm, just quiet, and there is a difference. We'll be taking calls in a bit, but first, a few things we're following. Before we go back to the phones, I want to circle back to a few things we've been keeping an eye on. Not headlines exactly, just developments. The kind of things that don't really announce themselves, but tend to linger if you notice them once. First one, and this has been coming up in a few different cities now, it's another quiet district rename moving through the paperwork stage. Not a press release, not a ceremony, just a line item change that showed up in a transit map in municipal databases sometime last week. The names most people still use. Right, that one. It's strange how long a name can survive after the maps decide it shouldn't. No announcement, no explanation, just less space for it to exist. And once you notice it happening once, you start noticing it everywhere. That's why we keep notes around here. Not predictions, just observations. A few things we're following. Line 1, you're on GhostLine. Evan is motioning. He says this caller has the most distinctive voice that he has ever heard.
I don't know how to respond to that, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Evan's nodding. That's rare. So congratulations, you've impressed the man who screens the calls.
I'd actually didn't call to talk about anything heavy tonight. I just wanted to say thanks.
Thanks for what?
For the show. I work nights, mostly alone. This helps me pass the time.
I'm glad that it does.
That's really it. I don't want to take up too much time.
You didn't, and for what it's worth, you might have ruined everyone else's voice for the rest of the night.
Sorry about that.
Don't be. Stay safe out there. Right, we're off to a strong start. You know, I've always been interested in the way people joke about things they don't fully understand. Or maybe because they don't fully understand them. It's not denial, it's not ignorance, it's instinct. You make something lighter so you can hold it longer. You hear it in the calls sometimes. Someone laughs halfway through a sentence they didn't expect you to say out loud. Someone makes a joke and then waits a second to see if it's still okay to laugh. That pause tells me more than the punchline ever could. There's this idea, and it comes up a lot when people talk about serious things, that if you joke about it, you must not be taking it too seriously. I don't think that's true. I think most people joke because they are taking it seriously, and they're trying to survive the weight of it without letting it flatten them. As my mother used to say, it's better to laugh about it than cry about it. Late night radio has always been good at that. Not fixing anything, not solving anything. Just giving people somewhere to put the thought once they've had it. Some nights the calls are heavy. Some nights the calls are strange. And some nights someone calls in just to say something that's been sitting with them for years, and they don't even know why they want to talk about it tonight. And sometimes people just want to talk. Which brings us to our next call. We've talked a lot on the show about systems, about numbers, about lists and markets and odds. But every once in a while, someone reminds you that, for better or for worse, people don't experience these things as abstractions. They experience them as stories. And some of those stories get told like entertainment. Line 3, you're on GhostLine.
Hey Julian, yeah, first time caller. Yeah, I wasn't sure if this was the right line, but I figured I'd try.
You found it. What's on your mind?
I was listening earlier. when you were talking about people treating things like stories, and it made me think about that show Last Odds.
I know it.
Yeah, okay. I just finished rewatching one of those older episodes, and I don't know, it stuck with me.
Which one?
The politician. The one everyone thought was untouchable.
I remember.
He'd been on the dead list for years, massive security detail, armored convoys, the whole thing. Yeah, and people kept betting against it, because how do you even get close to someone like that? He never went anywhere alone, never ate in public, never touched anything that wasn't clean 3,000 times.
That was the myth.
I don't know if it was a myth, but anyway. And then, the episode walks through how it actually happened. It wasn't dramatic, no gunshot, no chase, no big moment.
No collateral.
Exactly, just patience. They said it was it was that female ghost, the one, I forget her name. She'd already done a few major hits by then. Different style than most.
Go on.
She didn't rush it, didn't force access, just waited for the right opening. The show said it was a contact poison, that's all they said. It was a slow build-up in his system. It absorbed through his skin. I don't know. So it absorbed through his skin, I remember that. But
He never knew.
nope, not until the next day. And by then it was already too late. But what really messed me up was how long it took.
Sometimes that's the point.
Days. He was in agony for days, but no one could really pinpoint why. Yeah. And the thing is, the show didn't even frame it like it was justice. It was just the end of a story that we've all been waiting for.
How did that episode end?
With his odds dropping to 0. And the narrator said something like, "Some debts don't get forgiven, they just get collected."
Why do you think that episode stayed with you?
I don't know. I think because everyone talks about the dead list like it's just numbers. But that episode, that made it feel real. These are people. Also, I guess it's weirdly impressive, the planning she went through, the restraint used.
That's a common reaction.
Yeah. I know that probably sounds messed up.
It sounds human.
Anyways, I just wanted to talk about that episode. See if anyone else remembers it the same way I do.
I'm sure they do.
Thanks for letting me ramble.
That's what the line's for. Stay safe. We'll take another call after the break. Every era has its own source of entertainment. Sometimes it's singing contests, sometimes it's people trapped on islands, sometimes it's watching someone fall and convincing yourself they deserved it. That's the part that always gets dressed up nice. Deserved it. The dead list didn't start as entertainment. It started as bookkeeping. Names, odds, movement. Somebody somewhere decided numbers were easier than conversations. And once something has numbers attached to it, people stop asking why. They start asking, how long? We're going to take another call. This one's different. And this is caller Joel. Joel, you're on the line.
Hey Julian, long-time listener, first-time calling. I don't know if this fits what you're talking about tonight, but you said we could talk about whatever.
You found the line. That usually means it fits.
Okay, so I work with horses, thoroughbreds, racing stock. People think it's all glamour, big money, clean hands. It's not. There was this one horse, beautiful animal, perfect build, never lost a race. But he kept breaking stride near the end. Not enough to lose, just enough to make people nervous.
Nervous makes the market move.
Exactly. They ran tests, nothing was wrong with them. Trainers said it was temperament. Owners said it was risk. So one morning I came in early. The barn was quiet. The horse was standing there really calm, like he always was. The vet was there. The paperwork was already signed.
He wasn't sick?
He wasn't sick. No. It was expense. They put him down cleanly, no drama. Insurance paid out, new horse arrived a week later. It made me sad, I think about that every time I hear people talk about odds or lists, or how some people are just too practical.
You didn't call about horses, though, did you?
No. I called because I wanted to keep seeing the same look in people now. That one that says, this makes sense, if you don't think about it too long.
And we have Taylor. You're on GhostLine.
Hey, Julian. I don't really know if this hits tonight.
That usually means that it does.
Okay, thank you, yeah. So this is kinda dumb. It's not scary or anything, it's just weird.
Those are my favorite ones.
Okay, yeah, right. So, I've got this dog. Had him for years, nothing special, he's not trained for anything, but I love him.
What kind?
It doesn't really matter. That's not the point. But, every night, at exactly the same time, like down to the minute, he gets up, walks to the front door, and sits there.
Every night?
Every night. He doesn't bark, doesn't scratch, just sits.
What time?
11:23.
That's very precise.
Yeah. I checked more than once. At first I thought it was something outside, a sound, a neighbor or whatever. But I went out there and nothing.
It's a quiet street, Tyler?
Dead. No cars, no people, no animals, just him sitting.
Like you're early.
And if I call him back, he looks at me like I'm interrupting something. Exactly. So last week I finally opened the door.
And?
Nothing. Same street, same porch, same nothing. But he didn't go out. He just leaned forward a little, like he was listening.
To what?
That's the thing. I don't think it was sound. I think he was waiting for someone who didn't show.
And tonight what happened?
Tonight he sat longer.
How long?
Long enough that I got uncomfortable. Then he sighed, stood up, and went back to sleep.
Like whatever it was had, passed?
Yeah. So that's it. I told you I was kinda dumb.
No, that's not dumb.
What is it then?
I don't know, but dogs notice things before we do. Sometimes they notice things we've decided not to.
Yeah. Thanks for not laughing.
Thanks for calling, Tyler. All right, let's get back to the phones. Line 3, Mark. You're on GhostLine.
Well, yeah, first-time caller, long-time listener. I didn't think I'd actually call, but that tonight felt right.
That's usually how it goes. Go ahead.
So this is more of a theory, I guess. Something I've been thinking about for a long time. About how the system really works.
Which one?
I'm talking all of it. The app, the list, everything. All of it. The way people disappear without anyone noticing anymore. I think the government doesn't just react anymore. I think they prepare.
Prepare? How?
They pre-select people. Years ahead of time. Young guys, usually early 20s. Not a lot of close friends. No real digital footprint that anyone would even notice. The odds app already knows who they are. Their habits, their routines. Who they talk to. Who wouldn't miss them.
You're talking about assassins?
Yeah, I'm talking about the assassins, but I'm also talking about ghosts, hunters. I think once someone's chosen, the erasing has already started. Photos get corrupted. Tags stop sticking. I mean, everything's digital anyways, nothing's real anymore. Group shots lose a face and nobody notices or even remembers if he was there. You ask people about the guy and they say, yeah, I knew him. But they couldn't tell you a single story about him. God, even their best friends, they don't remember him at all.
That's a heavy claim.
Yeah, but think about the senator who got shot a few years back.
Which one?
Exactly. His name was, House a Hole something? I don't remember. It was a normal name.
Yeah, I know who you mean. I'm blanking too. Evan. Right, yeah. Senator Marcus Hale. Hale. That's the name for anyone listening who wants to look it up, assuming it's still there.
Yeah, that's him. They never caught the guy who did it. But there was video, lots of video, clear video. You could see the shooter walking away, his face visible, calm. And nobody could identify him, not one match. He had no digital footprint. And not one person could recognize him. It's like his face slid off the world.
And you think that was deliberate?
I think he'd been gone for years already. The shooting was just the last thing he did before he became a real nothing. I hear he's listed now. Same protection tier as a deadless ghost.
That's not something anyone's supposed to confirm.
I know, that's why I'm calling you, because if we remember them out loud, maybe they don't vanish all the way.
Maybe that's why the line stays open. Appreciate the call.
Yeah, me too.
That's about all the time we have for tonight. If there's a common thread in the calls we took, I don't think it's danger or fear, or even the list. I think it's attention. Who gets it? Who doesn't? And what happens when it shifts, quietly, without announcement? Some people notice it in the headlines. Some people notice it in odds and in numbers. Some people notice it when the door doesn't open the way it used to. And then some people notice it when a dog sits by the front door, waiting for something that's never quite going to arrive. We joke about these things because it helps us stand near them. Because sometimes, humor is the only way to keep your balance. When the floor feels like it's tilting. As my mother used to say, it's better to laugh about it than cry about it. Tomorrow the city will redraw a few more lines. A district will get a new name, and the old one will become forever difficult to say out loud. Nothing official, nothing dramatic, just the room adjusting again. If you were listening tonight and something felt familiar, if you caught yourself thinking, yeah, I felt that too, then you're not alone. Even if it feels like the system would prefer you to be. This has been GhostLine, same hour, same frequency. As always, I'm Julian Cross. Have a good night, or morning, wherever you are.